Hi all, good morning and good evening. So today's ad hoc session will discuss about SQL query optimization, and let me zoom it and performance best practice. This was the topic of today's session. Last session I have taken on different data load strategy. Those who have not attended the session, we have uploaded the recording on our YouTube channel in the ad hoc playlist. Please go through that because that is a very common concept used either by data analyst, data engineer, or all the job profiles which are related to data. Okay. So today I have planned to discuss about SQL query optimization. Okay. So before that, let's try to understand why query optimization. Okay. I just wanted to confirm again. Hope my voice is audible to everyone and screen is visible.
Yes, Tanvir.
Yes, audible and visible. Yeah.
Okay, great. So first of all, the question is why? We should optimize a query? And suppose I have written a query, I got the output based on the client requirement. Output is correct, client is happy, everything is fine. Even then, why it is needed to optimize it? What is the reason? See, earlier, like I remember when I was working during 2012, 13, or till 2014, 15. Okay, we used to deal with very less volume of data. Okay. The reason was uh, the social media and the number of transactions, the e-commerce applications, like they're generating huge volume of data. We all know that. Can you imagine the number of transactions happening on Amazon, Flipkart, or any other e-commerce platform, or the number of records or the data getting generated by social media applications? So you all know that. Like actually, I should not quote these examples. You all know that they are generating huge volume of data, and many such examples are there. Not only e-commerce, not only social media. Very simple example, like election data. So in election as well, uh, I was I was connected yesterday with one of technical guy who was working for some political party. He was telling that we also used to analyze the data, and based on that, we make the political parties they make their uh, marketing or advertisement strategy. Anyway, so each and everything is surrounded with data. So when you write a query, it's very important that how quickly the query is fetching the ideal expected time is for a normal query, it should not take more than 3 seconds to 5 seconds. But again, it depends from requirement to requirement, the report to report. Many other things are there. But net, we all want that the application or the report should should be able to fetch data very quickly. Suppose we are trying to open an app, and if that app is taking more than 5 seconds or 10 seconds, we get irritated, right? Especially like I will give you an example of Crade. You all know that Crade app. You might have heard about it, or you might be using it, right? We generally use this to make our credit card payment. Earlier, when I used to launch this Crade app, it takes a lot of time. It means a lot of zigzag and all those things will happen in the beginning. It's a bit irritating. My expectation is if I or just tap on an app, immediately it should open and should show me the home page. And it should be neat and clean. Okay. So any front end or any report at the back end, it is working on the database only, right? The Amazon app, the Flipkart app, Instagram, your LinkedIn, or just like if I give example of YouTube, you are tapping on a uh, video and immediately you're getting that getting played on your mobile. It's not like the entire YouTube database is in your mobile. No, in the backend it is hitting some data center, and from there it is fetching maybe through API calls and many other things are there, and that is how it is getting played in your mobile. But suppose you're trying to play a video and it is taking 5 seconds, you get irritated, right? The moment you will click on it, it will start playing, like in fraction of a second, it will start playing, right? So at the backend, this all are supported by queries only. All those things at the backend, it is the SQL query or the Python logic. Okay, it is working. So now the challenge is when you're writing the query, you have to write it in such a way that you should give less amount of tasks to the SQL engine. Okay. If you're giving a lot of tasks, engine will take more time and it will take more time, the performance will be impacted. So remember this, I have told this earlier as well. If you're giving more tasks to the SQL engine, it will take more time to finish it. And if it will take more time to finish it, so uh, it will take more time to display the result. And hence we can tell poor or bad performance. Just remember this. If you're giving more tasks, ultimately the query will be having a bad performance. And why? Because it will take more time to display the result. So always, whenever you write SQL query, you have to think, are you giving more tasks to the SQL engine or are you giving less tasks to the SQL engine? That's what you have to think. That is what is SQL query optimization. So the main summary, what we're going to study today is this one. That's it. Task. This is what actually we are going to study today. Okay, how to give less tasks to the SQL engine so that it it can display the data which exactly I want. That is what you have to learn in SQL query optimization. Okay, how should I write a query so that my engine should work on less number of tasks and ultimately less resources, less input output operations, less bandwidth it will consume. Is the agenda clear? Why we are studying the SQL query optimization? Why we should optimize the query? Yeah, Rahul.
Yeah, clear.
Yeah, hi Tanvir.
Yeah, hi.
Hi. Tanvir, I agree that from a reporting side, whatever visuals or whatever logics we create on, let's say, Power BI or Tableau, it hits back to the database and then it generates a query. So our query should be optimized. But from a reporting side, the control is not with us because at the reporting side we don't write SQL directly. We write our logics, which is which is the base language of that particular report. So let's say for
Hmm,
Power BI we don't write SQL, we write DAX
hmm,
queries. DAX
hmm,
queries are query folded into SQL. So in that
hmm,
case we should be optimizing our DAX also, right?
True. And see, I am not telling the only SQL query is responsible for the performance. That I'm not telling. Suppose you have written a very optimized SQL query. Suppose you're working on a Snowflake or any other cloud database. You have written a perfect SQL query, but your server is not having that much capability. Okay, you have taken a small size server. Of course, then it will take more time, and then you cannot blame SQL query why it is not why it is not fetching the result quickly. So I'm not telling you only SQL query is responsible alone for the performance, but what I'm telling is SQL query also plays a critical role. It's exactly same like in Bangalore, you have a very good sports car, but if the road is full of traffic, what is the use of it? You cannot blame the car then, right? Same way, if you have written a query and that is the optimized one, but apart from that, the other thing like the infrastructure, network, bandwidth, it's not good. So the query alone can't do anything. Now coming to your Power BI, at the back end, the schema, the database design, whatever you are doing. So for that, your team is responsible, no? Right? I totally agree ki whatever the logic you are giving, the Power BI is converting that to the backend. But again, somewhere the design of the table, everything is taken care by a solution architect. So that also matters. Again, I'm telling not only query which is responsible, which type of schema you have taken. If you have taken a Snowflake schema as compared to star schema, and suppose the same task can be done easily using a star schema, then why you have taken a Snowflake schema? It will take more time. I don't know how many of you know about the schema. Anyway, suppose you have taken a lot of dimensional tables. Again, that will impact. So the query alone is not responsible. Many other things are there which is responsible for the performance. But I am focusing here how to optimize a SQL query. What are the basic practices which we should follow? Is that clear, Rahul?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
So
In
more of
Power BI, just 1 minute, one minute. Before Power BI, like I remember, like we used to work on Alteryx, and then we have OBI, Oracle Business Intelligence. So whatever report you want to generate, we used to drag and drop, and ultimately at the back end, that particular application or tool will generate the queries only. But the queries what they're generating, it is based on the tables what we have feeded into that reporting tool. And that table, how it is getting data, how it has been designed, that also matters. And that's what I told you about the schema which you have followed, how many dimension and fact tables you have, what is the normalization form you're using. Suppose you're supposed to use third normalization form. You have used just 1NF or 2NF. Again, that will impact the performance. Okay. So many other things are there, and these all are interrelated actually. But in today's session, my main focus is on SQL query optimization. Yeah, Gitanjali, do you have any question?
So, I was just trying to understand, because in my mind, I just thought that, dashboard can have performance issues due to various factors. SQL querying can be one of them. So
Right.
in a sense, so it can be, maybe the functions or the features that they are complicated in a dashboard. That could be because of that also. Is this the
Hmm.
question? Or but if it is because of databases, then probably we can handle it through SQL, optimized SQL querying. Is that correct, sir?
Yeah, that's what I'm telling.
Acha.
A, I know like Power BI has that availability, it can generate the queries and you don't have any control over it. But what I'm telling is the queries which Power BI is generating, ultimately it is taking the data from the table only, which you have fed it, the
Huh.
design which you have
That is
created.
good.
So that also matters. And on that we have okay, yeah, tell me.
No, no, no. I was just listening to you, sir.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So on that we have a control. Okay, so that the design matters. That is what whenever we design any database, we go for that ER diagram. You might have heard everyone entity relationship diagram, right? We design it, and in all those things again, we think about the performance. Performance is not only the SQL queries. It starts right from the beginning. Okay, nowadays because we are having huge volume of it. Recently, I was working on a table which was having 1240 million records. I remember it. 1239 million rows. And nowadays, I know like many of you might have worked. Before this, I was working on a government project where we have 500 million rows, and that data we used to feed to the that uh, you have that education department in the government of India. That was about the number of government school students and all those things. Anyway, so we are dealing with huge volume of data, and that is why the queries has to be written in such a way that it should be able to fetch the results quickly. You should not only think, okay, I have written this query, this is the output, and that query is taking 1 hour. It's of no use. Recently, it happened in one of my projects. It was taking 30 minutes. We have designed the query, but it was taking 30 minutes. Then after a lot of optimization, we reduce it to 7 minutes. But sometimes it happens you have very complicated logic and it has to work on a lot of tables which has huge volume of data and your client is telling you, no, I want just in seconds, which is not possible, then you can't do anything. But what I'm telling you, whatever it is in your control, at least you should do that, no? And for that, you should know those steps, right? So that's what we are going to study. Is that clear?
Mm. So
If
even
this
if
is
you
clear,
have
sir.
complicated,
Sorry?
sorry,
Yeah,
Abhishek, please.
actually, yeah. So Abhishek here, Tanvir sir. So
Mm-hmm.
my question is like, let's say we have lot of rows, right? And
Mm-hmm.
one of the reason that our queries and our data process is moving very, very slow because of huge volume of data, can't we tell our stakeholders to limit the data so that we
No, no,
can,
no, 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 no. The reason is
or
why we cannot tell
historical data
because
maybe limit for like 2 years, 3 years, like that?
mm,
Because you
uh,
said that you just
uh,
said that you designed again that query which took 30 minutes and then again you redesigned and it took 7 minutes. Still
uh,
7 minutes is too high,
I can totally agree.
right?
Uh,
So like what could be our solution? Because if we limit the data, historical data, could it be one form of, or you can say one step towards the optimization?
hmm, one thing, historical data, okay, it it comes under the category of OLAP. Then the current data, let me complete first. No questions for the next 5 minutes. Please let me complete. Current data, current data can have your transactional data, real-time data, and all those things. This comes under OLTP. And in 99% of the cases, the historical data will be separate only. We never mix it because here, of course, historical data will be having data for the last 5 years or 10 years, and of course, the volume will be too high. So typically, I told you in more than 95% of the cases, or 99, I can tell you, we never mix them. It will be separate, and this will be separate. I am talking about this only. I'm not talking about this because if you will mix this, then that can become very dangerous for you.
Sir,
I'm
when
talking
we
only.
say current data, sir, again understood that when we say current data, again, current means what? Today's transaction, yesterday transactions, or a minute ago transactions, what?
Okay. I covered this in the data load strategy, but again, let me repeat this. See, actually, what happens? Same scenario I will cover again. Suppose I started my business, some business in 2015. Okay. Till 2025, everything was manual. And this happens in each and every project. It's not like you want to start a business and immediately you hired an ETL team that they will take care and store and analyze all the data. Okay. Suppose any business ABCD, I started in 2015, and then everything, my accounts team and the admin team, they were managing in an Excel sheet. This happens in each and every project. Okay. So then after that, I 2025, I thought In 2025, I thought to implement those under ETL, the ETL design. Okay. So I had a data engineer team. Let's say I hired you, Abhishek. Okay. I hired you. Abhishek, I have a lot of data. Now we are tired of maintaining it in an Excel sheet. The volume is increasing like anything. So can you please design a database so that I can store all the business transactional data? Okay, is the scenario clear first of all?
Clear, sir.
Okay. Now Abhishek will ask me, okay, you started your business in 2015. Now we are standing at 2025. So one obvious question which Abhishek will ask, with data from 2015, let's say till 2024, what do you want to do with this data, Tanvir? So I will tell to do one thing, whatever data we have from 2015 to 2024, maybe this all data will be in Excel sheet I was maintaining. Earlier, like we used to maintain in Excel only most of the times. I know like Oracle and Microsoft SQL Server was also there, but if your business size and the transactions are very less, so we used to maintain that in an Excel sheet, right? So I was maintaining everything on an Excel sheet. So I told to Abhishek, Abhishek, do one thing from 2015 to 2024. All the data is in an Excel sheet here. Can you please directly dump it in the database, whatever you will design? So Abhishek will tell, okay, fine. So Abhishek, what he will do, he will take all this data. I'm not going into that technical aspects of it, okay, how Abhishek will do. Maybe he will do this using Azure or AWS or Informatica or IICS or Python, but I'm not talking about it now. So what Abhishek will do, Abhishek will take all this data and he will dump it directly in my database, maybe in a separate table. That table name is transaction underscore history. Okay. So in this transaction
Hi.
underscore history, yeah, hi. In this transaction underscore
Thanks.
history, oh, 1 minute, let me complete. Hold on. Everything will get mixed up. First, let me complete this. So 2015 to 2024, all the data will be present in this transaction under history. Now, Abhishek will tell my team or to myself, Ketanvir, I have loaded all this data. Then I will ask ETL tester, okay, please validate all the data is correct or not, and then the testing team will do the testing. Then I will ask business analysts. Keep on listening, everyone. No questions. But please give me some time. Then I will ask business analysts, okay, hey, the data engineer team, they have loaded the data from 2015 to 2024 in this table. And you please verify that the report which which you used to create on an Excel sheet, okay, is that correct or not? Then what will happen? The business intelligence team, okay, they will generate report based on this. Okay. So then I will ask business intelligence team to check that the data which has been loaded in this transaction history table. Based on that, create a report. They will create the report, and the report which we used to generate in 2024 in the Excel sheet, that will be compared. This is known as reconciliation. If everything is fine, then we will give a sign off to Abhishek. Okay, all this data which you have loaded in the transaction history table is good. Everything is fine. This is known as OLAP, Online Analytical Processing. Okay, this story is over. Now, I will tell to Abhishek, Abhishek, whatever transaction will happen from 2025, let's say 1st January 2025 onwards on a daily basis, whatever transaction is happening on each and every day, you have to load it in a separate table. Let's say that table name is transaction underscore incremental. Okay. So I am talking about this only because here the data will get a static. Now this 2025 1st January data, Abhishek will load in this table. Then 2nd January data, he will load in this table. 3rd January data, he will load in this table. Now that's a different topic of discussion. That is what I covered in the previous session. Abhishek will then ask me, Tanvir, you want to go for full load, truncate and load, or incremental load? Okay, whatever the load may be, the type of load we have planned. So from 2025, 1st January 2025, then each and every day, the data will keep on getting loaded in this transaction underscore incremental table. Now, the client will ask me, okay, I want the reports for 2025 only. Then the business intelligence team, that is the reporting team, they will connect their Power BI to this transactional underscore incremental table only. That is what I told you here. Typically, in 99% of the cases, the historical data we will keep it separate, and the daily transactional data we will keep it separate. Now, sometime then what happens? Suppose 2025 till 2026. Okay. Now 2026, this is suppose let's say December 2026. Then we observed we started in January 2025 and December, suppose now we are at December 2026. So now in this transactional incremental table, I have data from January 2025 to December 2026. Then sometime what we used to do, again this data in the transaction incremental, which is having the data of complete January 2025, February, March, and all those things till December 2026, that is 24 months data. Then from here, we will move that again to this transaction history table. That we keep on doing that. Why? Because sometimes the client will tell you, no, I want data of a particular month only, particular year only. So why you want to keep it bulky? That is why incremental table will be having the data either of 1 year or on a daily basis like that. Is that clear?
Clear, sir.
First of
Clear,
all,
sir.
Abhishek, is this clear to you? Okay,
Clear, sir.
fine. Kavita, what is your question? Please go ahead.
Uh, so I just want to say, like Akhil in the group messaging right now that he is right now in the lobby. So can you approve? Like
No, I'm not getting anything to approve. Everyone is there
not
because
sure.
I have allowed everyone they can join. Maybe he can connect again.
Okay.
Okay.
And
I have not
another
approved anyone. Yeah,
okay.
please go ahead.
And another question is like you are saying after like getting the data in the incremental table, right? So after some year we will move the previous data also into the
Hmm,
history table, right?
correct.
So it will append the history data, like we will get the data from 2015 till
Hmm.
like 2024. Then we will append the data.
You're talking about the data of January 2025 till December 2026. Is this your question?
Yes, like after like
Ah,
when we are going to in 2007 or something
hmm,
2028, then we will
hmm.
append 2025 or 2026 data into the transaction history.
That is what I told. Suppose now we are at December 2026. Our client told, or maybe the solution architect, we discussed the data of data from January 2025 till December 2026. Now we have a huge volume of data in the transaction increment. Suppose I'm telling, just assume, okay. Then sometime it happens, we will plan now load this data from this transactional incremental table to transaction history table. So in that case, directly we will take this and we will dump it into this transaction history. But I am not telling that this always happens in each and every project. That I'm not telling. I'm telling that this is also one of the possible solution which we implement. Okay, and I think those who are working and those who are dealing with huge volume of data, they must have implemented. Now, you might be thinking, okay, Tanvir, in my project, we don't have separate history table and separate incremental table. I have worked in a project that was the Yardi project. It is based on the real estate data. They don't have a huge volume of data. Data was very less because they have the data of the tenants who are staying in their apartments, society, and the shops, whatever they are given for rent. The transactions are not that much heavy. So in those cases, what we have done, the historical and the incremental data, both we have kept in a single table because the volume is very less. So there is no hard and fast rule कि history data has to be always in a separate table. Incremental data has to be in a separate table. No, it's very flexible. So you have to understand, first of all, the client requirement. You have to understand the complexity of the entity so that based on that, you can design the ER model. And that is why these days the interviewers are asking you, do you know data modeling? Because if you know data modeling, then only you can design it. No, it's not like you got a requirement from client and immediately you will create a table. No, first of all, you have to design the database. Ki how many tables will be there? In each table, how many columns will be there? Are you going to implement a star schema, a snowflake schema, dimension table, fact table? How many layers will be there? A staging layer, integration layer, access layer, where you will do the data cleaning activity. If rejections will happen, on which basis you will do rejections. So first of all, we think about all these things, and this will be taken care by solution architect or the data modeler. Then we will finalize ki how many tables we need in each table, how many columns will be there. Those columns will be following which type of ETL transformation logic, soft delete, SCD type 1, type 2, or type 3. SCD type 1, type 2, and type 3 I covered in the last ad hoc session. Okay, so please go through that. And whatever I'm covering now, most of these things I have covered in the previous session as well. So is this clear? Okay. Yeah, Gitanjali, do you have question?
Anji
Gitanjali, do
sir.
you have
So,
question? Yeah, please go ahead.
sir, I just had one quick question. Partially, you have already answered this question, but let's suppose we are not aware of current business. Although I know it is all fixed in the beginning, but let's suppose we don't have business requirement from the uh, b- from the stakeholders. So in that case, do we dump all the 2005 data into the current ETL, or that is transaction incremental table? Is that how it happens? And then later on, once we get more clarity, we shift it back to old app?
You cannot
Huh.
do anything without the consent of your stakeholders,
Acha.
and you cannot make any assumption, not at all.
Hmm.
Even if it is you have just few seconds left for the production, you can't do anything on your own.
Mhm.
Everything has to be documented, everything has to be communicated over email. And
Mhm.
that is what the task and the responsibility of a business analyst, no? He has to
Right.
document the things. And if something is not clear, that is why the business analysts they share the functional requirement document or the BRD or the SRS with everyone, the development team or the testing team or the business intelligence team, the data science team, the machine learning team. Why? So that everyone should be on the same platform. Now, suppose, Geetandi, you are working as a data engineer. You thought, ki, okay, let's separate the historical data in a separate table. You created a separate table. You dumped the historical data in that table. But yeah, I'm in the data science team. How I will come to know what Gitanjali has done? For
Hmm.
me, everything is the functional requirement document which business analyst has shared. No,
Agreed,
so
agreed.
that is
Okay, sir.
why no assumptions, nothing.
Yeah.
Even if you have an atom of doubt, you have to
Hmm.
immediately drop an email either to business analysts or to the stakeholders, and they will act accordingly.
Acha, ठीक है, sir. Sir,
Yeah,
because I
clear?
just
Hmm.
wanted, clear, sir. Sir, because I thought that what marks whether the daily data as in today's data will go into transaction incremental load, or whether for
Hmm.
the entire month, current month will get into the incremental load. ठीक है, sir. So
Hmm.
I think this is clear now. It will be
Here's
according to
why
the
it is,
documentation.
and that's why it is known as OLTP. Acha, one
Hmm.
minute here. Not sure how many of you know this OLAP and OLTP or not. Can you raise your hand? How many of you know this? ये तो लग रहा है यहाँ पे थोड़ा डाउट है. 1, 2, 3, only 4, 4, 5.
I need clarity on this. Yeah.
ठीक है फिर अभी हम लोग will go n minus 1 step. Okay. So see, I don't want
Thank
to
you,
do
sir.
that formality SQL query optimization I completed. So let's skip it. And this is also an important topic. So first of all, let me complete this. ठीक है. तो फॉर्मेलिटी वाला काम नहीं कर रहे हैं, पहले इसको समझते हैं। अच्छा ये थोड़ा मैं क्या क्या बताऊंगा, एक मिनट रुक जाओ। फर्स्ट लेट मी कंप्लीट OLTP and all. I thought of covering the data lake as well. Just one. See, long back I used to teach this ETL and all those things. ठीक है, एक मिनट रुक जाओ। Look, first of all, you have to understand that what is OLAP and what is OLTP. If you know, that's well and good, but still I will request everyone. OLAP is online analytical processing. Okay. Tell me one thing, like Rahul Dravid, we call them as what? The wall. Rahul Dravid को कहते हैं ना, the wall. And similarly, I think Mahendra Singh Dhoni also has some, they have given some name to him. I don't know like what was the name. So I mean the like Sachin Tendulkar also, Master Blaster, something like that, right?
Mr.
So
Dependent, all Rahul Dravid.
Miss, oh, Rahul Dravid is Mr. Dependent. Yeah, correct. So yeah. So tell me one thing. Is it like just based on the performance of one match we have given that title to Rahul Dravid, Mr. Dependent? No, right?
Different
It's
matches,
like
like
lot of
plenty of
matches he
matches
has played, and we have seen that
based
consistent
on that.
performance. Correct, no? And then only we have given that. Correct. Similarly, any player. So when consistently they perform well, so we used to give some name to them, a player or to the businessman or to anyone, like Tata. We blindly trust. At least I blindly trust. कि अरे यार Tata का है तो ठीक ही होगा, right? We have that trust because for a long time we are seeing their products and we have some trust in them. कि ठीक है भाई Tata का है, it will be good only. Similarly, when you do analysis on anything, so it's not like you on a particular day data, you will do analysis and you will conclude something. Suppose today, okay, I am running a business and I got a lot of transaction. Just based on that, I cannot conclude that, oh, my business is performing well. But if anyone has seen Shark Tank India, I'm not sure how many of you have seen that. In the Shark Tank India, if you see the sharks, what question they will ask? Tell me your total revenue on 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. Why they're asking for the last 5 years or 6 years? Or when you buy any share, so you will see the performance of that company for the last 5 to 10 years. Why? Because when we have data for the last 5 years or 10 years, 15 years, then only we can conclude something, no? Right? So that is what whenever we have to do analysis. So we need data for the last 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, or whatever it may be. The summary is we need data of the last last 10 years, 5 years, whatever it may be. Then only we can do analysis. And that is what known as OLAP, means online analytical processing. It means in this we are able to do analysis now, and generally it will be having historical data. That is why whenever you have to do analysis, it is not like it just based on the data of 1 day, 2 day, 1 month or 2 months. You can do analysis and you can share report with your stakeholders. Understood? That is why the name is OLAP, online analytical processing. It means this will help me in analyzing the data, and typically they have the historical data. Is this point clear? जल्दी बताओ यार, clear है नहीं? Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Clear.
Okay.
Clear.
Now, recommendation engine like YouTube. Suppose I am interested in politics. So, like YouTube will suggest me the political videos. You all know that, correct? If I'm interested in some music, so they will recommend me those musics only, correct? So do you think it is just based on one or two uh, videos I played and immediately they will change the recommendation? No. So the YouTube algorithm, it will check, okay, what Tanvir is watching for the last few days or few months or whatever it may be, and based on that, they recommend videos to me. You all know this. Recommendations which I'm getting in my YouTube and the recommendations which you will be getting in your YouTube. Do you think it will be same? क्या लगता है आपको same होगा?
That's
Oh yeah, tell me. It will be different, obviously, right? For me, it will be different. For you, it will be different. Correct. So it is analyzing my watch history, and based on that, it is recommending. So the summary of all these things is, if you want to do analysis, you need data of the last few months or few years. Then only you can do analysis, and that is what is OLAP. And OLAP has historical data. Example is recommendation engine. Just understand these three terms: OLAP, historical, recommendation. This is clear. Opposite of this is OLTP, online transactional processing. It means the day-to-day transaction, what is happening, that we stored in the database, which is OLTP. That is what I've written, day-to-day transaction. Whatever transaction happened today in the Amazon app, that will be stored where? OLAP or OLTP? Where it will be stored? Tell me.
OLTP.
OLTP. 1 million customer has purchased or placed order in the Flipkart. All those 1 million transactional data will be stored in OLTP. So the day-to-day daily transactional data are getting stored in OLTP. But I'm not telling that today is 12th November, so only 12th November data will be in OLTP. No, date of 11th November will also be in OLTP. 10th November will also be in OLTP. 9th November will also be in OLTP. October 2025 will also be in OLTP. But once the OLTP will become bulky, then what we will do? We will then plan it. We will decide. We will discuss with the stakeholders. Okay, now OLTP has a huge volume of. Then, if everyone will agree, then we will move the data of OLTP to OLAP. Is that clear? So OLTP is like a fresh wardrobe where you'll be having the latest collection of your dress. Okay, and once that is old fashioned or something torn or something went wrong, then you will dump it in some storage room, no? So assume OLAP like that only. Okay. And the best example of OLTP is your ATM transactional, online booking. This all gets stored in OLTP. Is this point clear? Yes, no.
So it is
Clear.
Yeah, so it is clear, but let's suppose we want the OLTP has become bulky and we want to shift a part of the data into OLAP. So in that case, the daily transactional data, like for example, millions of records will go inside OLAP. Can we transfer that, or will it
Why
take
not?
some addition?
Why not? Why not? We will
Aggregation
directly
करेंगे
dump
हाँ.
it into OLAP.
अच्छा, it
We'll
won't be
directly dump it
aggregated
into
data.
कोई issue नहीं. Sorry, it will be.
It won't be aggregated data, na? So it will be transactional daily data only that will go into OLAP.
That is fine. No issues at all. Just the
Okay.
structure has to be same. Okay. The structure
ठीक.
has to be same. So directly I will take it from there. I will dump it into that
Okay.
OLAP
So
database.
can we
Okay.
safely can we हाँ जी, can we safely say that OLAP has more capacity to store data than OLTP?
We can say that.
ठीक.
So that is what in Azure, those were in the Azure batch. If you remember, I was teaching you tiers: hot tier, cool tier, cold tier. If you remember, so that is why OLTP are typically we keep in hot tiers so that the retrieval should be faster. And
Mhm.
the OLAP we keep it in the cool tiers because there we are not bothered that much in fetching the data on a daily basis. Okay. Anyway, देखो, and the things all are interrelated here. If I will pick one topic now, so it will trigger me to hit some other topic. So we will slip from topic to topic. We'll get distracted, but that is fine. I appreciate if you guys are interested. We can discuss about it. Okay, so this is clear. Okay, now
Yes, yes,
this is
Tejasvi.
another example. Okay, this is another example. OLAP database means it will be having business data warehousing Now, many people have this confusion. Tanvir, what is the difference between data warehouse and database? Same difference. Warehouse keeps the historical data, and database keeps the daily transactional data. So if I'm telling OLAP, it means the historical data, or it will be kept in the data warehouse. Generally, the mining data, analysis data, the big data, they are kept into this app system. Okay. In OLTP, the daily transactional data will be in OLTP. So that is what the operations data, whatever operations are happening on a daily basis, we keep it in OLTP. So don't get confused. It's very simple. देखो बहुत simple है. OLAP means historical data. Why we are keeping them? Because we want to do analysis. Why? Because generally we'll do analysis on a large volume of data which are for the last few years. OLTP will keep the transactional data, that is the daily transactional data. And for that, if you have heard about Kafka, so that is the best tool we use for the real time or the stream processing. In Azure as well, you have that incremental data load. Today only I have posted that on my LinkedIn page, HWM high watermark. Again, I'm slipping to other topic. Anyway, I hope this is clear. OLAP is online analytical processing. It has historical data. It is subject oriented. Why I'm telling subject oriented? Because here we have a agenda. What is the agenda? I want to do data mining. I want to do analysis because I have to take some decision. You cannot make a decision just the data of a particular day, right? That is what is OLAP. The data is used for planning, to solve some problem, to make some decision. Okay, and it has a large amount of data, maybe in terabytes or petabytes. And see, nowadays storage is not a concern because the storage is getting cheaper day by day. You all know that. If you want to buy 1 TB hard disk, it will hardly cost you 4,000 or 5,000. 1 TB, correct? Hardly 4,000 or 5,000. The storage is not a big deal. How to quickly access data from that storage, that's still a concern because for that you need a good capacity of a GPU and the processing speed and all those things. Okay. And that is what if you have seen the recent interview of Sam Altman. Well, so he was again focusing on this. The storage is not a big deal for us. The data center, what they're constructing in US, but for them, the main concern is how quickly my chat GPT is able to fetch the data to the users, right? And that is why, like SoftBank and many other has invested a lot of money into this OpenAI and chat GPT. Anyway, now this OLTP, it consists of the transactional data, the operational data, or the daily basis data. It is application oriented. Application means to solve a particular task. If you want to make some immediate decision, okay, then we go for OLTP. Day-to-day operations, size is relatively a small like megabyte or gigabyte. Don't get confused. This is the only difference between them. So data warehouse means OLAP, historical data, or you can tell OLAP if I'm talking, it means I'm talking about historical data, and that is stored in warehouse. OLTP if I'm talking, that is a transaction or real-time or day-to-day data that is stored in database. And then we have ACID property. Now leave it. I don't want to discuss it now. We will again slip to some other topic. Okay. So this is again the difference between them. Okay, that database and data warehouse. Anyway, I hope this is clear to everyone. OLTP and OLAP is clear. Question is
No, sir.
all
I
clear.
have one question.
Hmm.
So when we do the data cleaning, okay,
Hmm.
so we do the data cleaning separately for OLTP and OLAP, or it's a merge.
Go. Acha. Before that, what is data cleaning? Why we do data cleaning?
To
Anyone?
structure the data.
Structured data. देखो मतलब assume कि I am a labor. Okay, मान के चलो तनवीर is a labor. He don't know anything. उस एंगल से मेरे को समझाओ आप. What is data cleaning? आप बोलोगे structure. मेरे को नहीं समझ में आ रहा. I'm not able to understand how I to structure. क्यों structure करूंगा मैं?
Just to
समझाओ
remove
मुझे.
the
to make to make the data readable and usable.
Readable. क्यों readable करेंगे उसे? Why I should make it readable? और clean करने से readable कैसे हो जाएगा? So
Yeah, remove
basically,
unwanted
To make
data.
to to make the data error free.
data error free. चलो ठीक है.
To make the
Remove
data some
Suppose we have
sense. So let's say, for example, make some sense means, let's say we have January sales amount, February sales amount, March sales amount, right? But we missed May and June, and then we have July sales amount, then we missed August, right? So to remove this, to make some sense of that historical and pattern data, we do some transformations and modifications to that data. So that refers to cleaning, I think.
ठीक है. But you all have given a correct answer only. Okay, that's fine, perfect. But I was thinking कि at some more atomic level if we can discuss. चलो ठीक है. So now I have tried to explain OLAP. I have tried to explain OLTP. Hope you all have got some fair idea. Although I have not went into much in depth how it is designed and how to implement all those technical.
I can give
Sorry?
one example maybe.
नहीं नहीं एक
Since you
रुक जाओ
mentioned you have to
hold on रुक जाओ एक सेकंड तो थोड़ा लेट हो जाएगा. Okay. So OLTP and OLAP I have covered. Now let me quickly come to this data cleaning. Okay. Although see SQL query optimization, I'm sorry, will not be able to cover today. Almost 1 hour is over, but this is also an important topic. I hope कुछ तो सीखा ना हम लोगों ने आज. ठीक है. तो maybe next class I will plan this topic. Now let me cover something about data cleaning. This is also important one. Okay. And I hope you guys will not mind it. I'm very sorry. I planned for this, but we slipped to some other topic. Is this fine? या फिर you want me to
Yeah, it's
cover
fine.
this only now? ठीक है
No
ना?
problem,
मतलब
sir.
कुछ तो सीख रहे हैं ना हम लोग, कुछ तो सीख रहे हैं, राइट?
Yes.
नेक्स्ट क्लास में we will cover the SQL query optimization. ठीक है ना? चलो. Now let's discuss about data cleaning. इसको बहुत आराम से समझते हैं. Okay. What is data cleaning? Okay. And Tanvir, why should do data cleaning? यार, cleaning क्या है? Okay. This data cleaning is also known as data scrubbing. Okay. But ठीक है, different names. So just focus on data cleaning only. I will give some examples and from that we will try to understand. ठीक है, समझना बात. Suppose I have a data of 2025 January and this is the revenue to 2000 February, that is null March. Listen very carefully, okay, please. March is 5000, April is 1500. Okay. I have shown this report to my client, okay, to my stakeholder. Okay, this is the revenue of each and every month for the year 2025. Now, client is telling you, Tanvir, January is fine, March is fine, April is fine. Why you have null in February, Tanvir? Why is this null? Client is asking me this question. Why is this null for February? I told I can't do anything because this was the null. This value was sent by the data engineers. They have loaded this in the database. I can't do anything. Do you think client will agree? Client will tell carrier, we already have this discussion. It is mentioned in the requirement document. We discussed this in the requirement gathering call. You don't have to display null. Then why you are displaying null? Client is asking me this question. Now, client is correct or not? Tell me.
Client is
Of
correct,
course,
sir.
client is correct. Client told me कि Tanvir, don't show me null, yaar. Null is a technical term. You people are technical guys. You know null, but we are the business people. Yaar, we don't know what is null. Why you are showing this? No, I will tell ki sorry, I can't do anything. I am the business intelligence guy. I am preparing reports. Whatever data is fed to the Power BI, I am just displaying that to you. Client will not agree. Then what I have to do? Then I will go to the data engineer. Kya re yaar, why you loaded null? Then data engineer will see, oh my god, that's a mistake. Oh, by mistake we feeded null. It was sent by the source team. It is not my mistake. Now we will go back to the source team. That cycle will keep on running, right? So whose mistake is this? When it is mentioned in the functional requirement document, you don't have to load null, then why the data engineers has loaded this? Why they have not tested this, right? Or why they have not implemented those rules so that even if null is sent by the source team, it should be rejected, no? Correct? So the client will not agree to this. So this will be an escalation. Is this point clear?
Yes, sir.
I am starting with the problem statement. Then I will tell you why data cleaning is needed. First of all, understand the pain point. This is one pain point. Clear? Okay. Now, second example. I am showing the data of March, April, May. May is 9,000. Okay. Now here, client is shocked. Oh my God, what happened suddenly in the month of May? Suddenly 9,000. Oh, January only 2,000. March increased to 5,000. April again decreased. April to May 9,000. Do you think typically it is possible? I know it may be the rare scenario. Some festive season will be there. I totally agree. But still the client will be surprised. No, Kerry, yeah, how it is possible? Suddenly from 1,500, the sales jump to 9,000. Correct. So client will ask me question. Suppose I'm that business intelligence guy. I'm preparing reports. Client asks me, "Hey Tanvir, in May 9,000, it's a great news here. But can you cross verify, Tanvir? Is this the correct data?" Okay. I started checking and I found, oh my God, in the month of May, duplicate data was loaded. Actually, it was 4,500 only. But by mistake, the source team has sent duplicate files. And because of that, I'm showing the my data as 9,000. So I told to client, I'm very sorry, but it is not my mistake. The source team has sent the duplicate files. And because of that, the number is doubled. Is the scenario clear, first of all? So
Clear.
again, the client will escalate this. No, it Tanvir, then why data engineers has loaded it? I totally agree it is the mistake of source team. Why they send the duplicate data, but the data engineer should also implement these constraints while loading the data. No, correct. This is again a problem. Are you understanding? Is that clear? Yes or no?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes,
Yes
sir.
or
Yes.
no? Okay. Okay. Now next scenario. Keep on understanding the pain point first of all. Now next scenario. Now this is for which month? JU. You might be applying your common sense कि तनवीर ये तो जून होगा, this must be June. But again, client
Maybe
can
July
raise a
also.
concern here. हाँ, जुलाई भी हो सकता है ना, right? So again,
Hmm.
client will clear the concern. Now client will tell Tanvir, what is this? I will tell, अरे यार, this is the common sense. After May, this can be June only. I can tell this to client. But client, suppose the client is telling, no, already it has been discussed during the requirement. You see, that is why requirement gathering call, requirement analysis call are very important. And that is why if any lead is present in this call now, like that is why the business analyst will immediately document all the requirements. And that will get signed off from the client. And that will be circulated with everyone. So the client will tell, I already told in the requirement gathering call, all the months must be of 3 characters. Then why you're showing JU only? Or even if you write JUNE, this is also a concern. Maybe they can tell you why you're displaying the 4 characters. If they're expecting 3 characters, it has to be JUN only. I'm just giving you one example. Because same thing happened in my project. What happened? They told us to display India like this only, IN. But what mistake we have done? It happened in my project recently. We displayed somewhere like this, somewhere like this. All that is making sense, but the client is getting confused. Why these 3 different formats? If they are told, I want to display India like IN, you have to display IN only everywhere. So again, this is a concern. Understood? Okay. Now,
That
next
creates
example.
sometimes redundancy also, sir.
Correct. Next example, May, June, So suppose July. Is this possible? Revenue negative number? Got it? Again, client will raise a concern. Yeah, how is it possible that revenue is negative? Now you cannot tell that the source team has sent. Then again, they will tell why the data engineers has not detected it, why they have not filtered. Even if the source team has sent the negative values, why they have not raised the flag it is negative value? They should have sent an email, and the source team would have sent the data again, right? So many such scenarios are there which can happen, and these are the pain points. That is why it is recommended before loading data, perform data cleaning activity, clean all these things. If the source has sent a null value in the revenue column, typically the mandatory columns, if you have null, so null should not be loaded in those columns. And this is the responsibility of data engineers. They should reject those records, and those records must be loaded into the audit table. These records has been rejected. And that is what, if anyone is working on Azure, when you run the pipeline, so you will see that the stats, how many rows it has read and how many has been loaded. From that, you can find how many records has been rejected. Anyway, this is one data cleaning activity. You have to clean all these records. These records should not be rejected. Okay. Again, here, if the source team has sent duplicate files, you should be able to reject the duplicate copy. And that is why in interview, the interviewer asks you this question. You write a query to find a duplicate record. Very common interview question. That is why this question is asked in interviews. Okay. Then here, why it is 3 characters. So all these things you have to check. First of all, the data which you have received from the source team, is that as per the format or not? If it is not as per that format, then you have to reject it, and this all comes under data cleaning activity. One more scenario. In one of my project, I was working in 2016. I was working for Fidelity at that time. So it was discussed, client told data of a particular region. I think it was Japan. I forgot it. I think it was Japan. They told that Japan region data, you don't have to display anything on the report. By mistake, what happens? Source team has sent this data, and our data engineers has not implemented that rule, and it was finally displayed on the report, and this was escalated like anything, because generally Japan has a very different financial calculations. If anyone has worked, you may know this. So again, this also comes under data cleaning activity. It means even if the source has sent the Japan, we have to reject it. So these all things comes under data cleaning activity, and this is generally task of data engineers. Is this clear? What is the meaning of data uh, cleaning? And when you will Google or when you will see, so they will just give you that fancy ready-made words. Data cleaning is used to detect and correct inaccurate data, incomplete data, or irrelevant data, or dirty data, या जो भी इसके अलग अलग फैंसी और रेडीमेड वर्ड्स you will see, but this is the underlying reason. Because of these reasons, we do data cleaning. But in interview, if you have to answer just in 10 seconds, you can tell ki to remove the dirty data. Okay, we do data cleaning activity. Okay, or bad data. ठीक है, या junk data. Okay, we perform data cleaning activity. But I hope you understood now why data cleaning is needed. Is that clear?
Sir, understood. But as you said, we will all record those null values or wherever we have input wrong dimensions rows to a audit table, right? We could have we should definitely have a recorded table for those. But can't it be possible, since null is a bucket of assumption? So can't we ask our stakeholders, let's say if we remove null, then we have to remove feb also. Can't we ask that number for feb if they can check it at their end?
Hmm. See, see. Suppose your question
Means
is valid.
means
Yeah,
impute
complete.
null, yeah.
See,
Otherwise, अगर वो बोलेंगे कि we would like to see the yearly trend,
Hmm.
then
Hmm.
definitely Feb will be out of that particular line and it will show break
Hmm.
there.
No,
So
your question is valid. Abhishek is telling कि Tanvir, okay, this is the data, and you are telling कि February has the null, so we will reject it. So Tanvir, in that case, yeah, we are showing the data of only January, March, and April. No, what about February? Again, the client will raise concern. That is what you're asking, Abhishek?
yes, means
See.
business बंद था, दुकान
So,
बंद थी. What is the reason?
हाँ, correct, correct. देखो, audit table में what I told is कि suppose client has sent me 10 records, ठीक है, 100 records. Out of 100 records, suppose only 80 records is loaded in my stage table. Okay. So, yeah, what happened to those 20 records? How I will come to know? I will just understand that, so pardon me for the spellings. Okay. I will understand that 20 records are rejected, but how I will come to know what was the reason that this 20 records has been rejected? That is what I'm telling you. The records which are getting rejected, it means not loaded into the staging table because of any reason that that must be captured in the audit table so that I can understand the reason why this records has been rejected. Then this set of records along with the source file and proof, we have to send an email to the source team if these records are rejected. Can you send the file again? But again, there is a concept of threshold check. Threshold check generally in terms of percentage. Like suppose if the threshold check is 10%, it means if more than 10% records are rejected, then we don't have to load any data at all. If less than 10% record has been rejected, then we can load the data, and the remaining record which has been rejected, then the source team has to send those data in the tomorrow's data set. Is that clear? This threshold check is also known as variance check.
Yes, can you
Is
please
this clear,
repeat
Abhishek?
that? Please repeat little bit.
Yeah.
I got lost. Yes.
Sure. See, what I'm telling here is suppose 100 records has been sent by the source team, and only 80 records has been loaded into my staging table. 20 records has been rejected. So this 20 records which has been rejected, no, it has to be captured into the audit table so that I can understand why this 20 records has been rejected. Okay.
Got
Then
it, sir.
what I have to do, this 20 records, I have to take the screenshot or the evidence, whatever I have. Then I will send that to the source team, marking my manager and the stakeholders in CC. If these records has been rejected, can you please look into it and send the file again? This is one scenario. Then I try to introduce the concept of threshold check. What is this threshold check? Suppose in my project, threshold check is kept at 10%. It means if more than 10% record has been rejected, then we don't have to load any data at all. We blindly will tell to the source
Rejected
team,
means,
"Sir, rejected
sir,
means
sir, sir,
not loaded, not loaded."
not loaded. So let's say, for example, if
Hmm.
threshold check is set 10%, so if my audit table is containing more than 10%,
इसी पे तो आ रहा हूँ.
right?
अब रुक जाओ मैं उसे ही पढ़ रहा हूँ. I'm coming to that only. 1 minute. Let me complete. So if more than 10% record has been rejected, for let's take this scenario. Scenario 1. Client has sent source team has sent 500 records. Okay. Out of 500 records, only 40 records are rejected. So in percentage, how many records are rejected? 8 percentage. Now this 8 percentage is less than 10 percentage, no? So the remaining 500 minus 40, that is 460 records.
Records
I will
will be loaded.
load in I will load in my staging table, will be loaded in a staging table. But At the same time, this 40 records which has been rejected, I have to drop an email to the source team. If this records has been rejected because of so and so reason, you please send the data again tomorrow. This is scenario one, when the threshold rejected records is less than threshold. Second scenario, 500 records. Rejected records are supposed 70 records has been rejected. Okay. So I think this is 14 percentage, right? The 14% record has been rejected. Now this 14% is greater than this threshold 10 percentage, no?
Yes.
Then I will tell to the source team that I'm not going to load any data at all. I know that 500 minus 74, 30 records are fresh, are good data. But even then, I will not load it. I have to reject the entire file because more than 10% records are rejected. So entire file I will reject. I will not load any data at all. I will blindly tell the source team is sorry, we are not going to load any data. Send me a fresh set of file immediately. Because if they will not send immediately, then the stakeholders who are waiting for the report, they will not get the report. So this is little bit critical scenario. But this threshold check is not implemented in all the projects. The projects in which they need report on a daily basis, especially the stock exchange or the other projects where immediately on a daily basis they have to take decisions. So in those projects, we implement this type of check. But maybe those who are working on our work, you might have not seen this term. You are hearing this for the first time. I'm not sure how many of you, but yeah, but this we implement this.
So,
Okay, is this clear?
cl-
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
this is kind of clear, but I
Hmm.
just had two questions, sir, if you have a minute. So, for
Hmm.
example, when we come to threshold check, is
Hmm.
this like a, I know it's some projects use it, some don't, as you mentioned,
Hmm.
but if it is implemented, is it always 10% or it can vary depending
No,
on
no, no. It varies. It varies. Varies.
Acha,
In
acha.
few projects it
And
might be 5%. In few projects maybe 20%. But generally ये 20 से कम ही रहता है. Okay.
तो सर ये
Yeah,
कौन
it varies.
डिसाइड करता है थ्रेशोल्ड चेकिंग
A
चेक
client,
कितना होना चाहिए
client.
क्लाइंट?
देखो,
अच्छा.
more than 95% of the scenarios,
हम्म.
everything will be decided your client.
अच्छा.
आप ऐसा ले लो. You want to buy a suit. It is you
हम्म.
know who will decide the color, fabric, and all those things.
हम्म.
सेल्समैन कैन नॉट डिसाइडेड. सेल्समैन नहीं कह
हम्म.
सकता कि नहीं आपको ये कलर लेना. यू विल टेल नो इट्स माय विश. That is what it's
हम्म.
purely the wish of client. And that is why nowadays the clients are also very intelligent. They also have their own technical team as well. उनका
हम्म.
खुद का भी technical team है. You take the example of Citibank, you take the example of BofA, you take the example of Boeing. They all have their own technical team. आप उनको बेवकूफ नहीं बना सकते.
हम्म.
Okay, yeah.
सो एक तो ये हो गया क्वेश्चन, दूसरा ये कि लेट्स सपोज इन ऑल द सिनेरियोज दैट यू हैव टेकन अप देयर हैज बीन सर्टेन अमाउंट ऑफ रिकॉर्ड्स व्हिच हैव बीन रिजेक्टेड. So, when we are asking for the source file, do we ask for all the 500 records or we just ask only
All the
those
500.
40 records?
No, no, no.
Hmm.
जनरली क्या होता है ना, here when
Hmm.
the threshold is more than 20%, तो जनरली
Hmm.
फिर हम ना उसको blindly reject कर देते हैं कि नहीं यार इसको रखो.
Hmm.
I need a fresh set of files.
But सर
ठीक है,
ये
क्योंकि
जैसे रिमेनिंग फाइल्स तो आप रिमेनिंग रोज तो आपके हो गए ना रिकॉर्ड्स
उन्हें,
अपलोड तो
लेकिन
फिर.
उसमें
Hmm.
प्रॉब्लम क्या होता है ना, द प्रॉब्लम देयर इज इट इज योर हेडेक ओनली. व्हाई? बिकॉज समटाइम इट हैज हैपेंड कि
Hmm.
I was under the impression that this 430 records are good, only 70 records are rejected. Next time they have sent us 70 records. Okay. But
Hmm.
then again, usme bhi, again we have to check the entire things, like the header is correct or not, a trailer is correct or not, the file format is correct or not. Then why I should take all those headache यार? तो हम लोग कह देते कि नहीं यार, यार फाइल, keep this file with you only, send me a new set of files.
ठीक है, so
Okay.
that is loaded again, all 500 records
हाँ,
are loaded again.
loaded
अच्छा.
again. But this is a very tedious task actually. Why?
Hmm.
Because the entire load has to be kept on hold at that time. And this will be
Hmm.
typical. This is actually done by the support team. Data engineer अब सो रहा है क्योंकि this will run in the midnight, maybe around 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. or 1 a.m. in the night. Generally, night रात में चलता है. The support team then they will take care of everything. Okay, and that is why the support job is like 24/7. They have to be active every time. You never know when what will happen.
तो सर वो जो बाकी के जो रिकॉर्ड्स थे जो पहले लोड हो गए थे उनको डिलीट करने पड़ते हैं?
उनको आप डिलीट ही कर देते हैं, ट्रंकेट करते हैं, फिर उसके बाद बहुत लॉट ऑफ अदर स्टोरीज आते हैं. तो एक विस्कस सर्किल की तरह है ये. ओके, ठीक है. तो फाइन देन, आई विल स्टॉप हियर. सॉरी, आई थॉट ऑफ keeping it 30 minutes, but we crossed more than 1 hour. But in the next session, I will pick this topic, SQL query optimization. ठीक है. So fine then, we'll connect next week.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
any
sir.
question, Abhishek? Okay, fine, good. So thanks a lot, everyone. Take care. Good night. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.
Good night.